Okay, let's talk about generative AI in the pharma supply chain. We've all heard the buzz, right? The massive promises, all the hype. But today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. This isn't just about potential. This is about proof. We're going to give you a practical, data-driven playbook to make Gen AI a real thing in your operations. So let's kick things off with the one number that's driving this entire conversation.
$110 billion. Yep, you heard that right. According to top analysts, that's the estimated annual value Gen AI could bring to the pharma and medical products industries. And look, this isn't some minor efficiency gain. We're talking about a fundamental, ground-shaking shift in how value gets created.
So a number that big, where does it even come from? That's what we're diving into first. We're going to unpack this $110 billion opportunity. This is the why, the real drivers that are making this technology something you absolutely cannot ignore.
And that huge dollar figure, it breaks down into some seriously tangible gains. Just imagine a 30 to 40% productivity lift across the entire sector. Gen AI could automate up to 40% of the hours people work, freeing them up for the stuff that really requires a human brain. And the impact on R&D, it's even more mind-blowing. We're talking about potentially slashing drug discovery timelines by 70% and making clinical trial recruitment up to 5 times faster. This isn't just a small step forward, it's a complete reimagining of the entire value chain.
That kind of potential is just staggering. But it also creates a big challenge, right? With so many possibilities, where on earth do you even start? This brings us to the what. How to identify your highest impact plays so you can get the best return right out of the gate.
Now, this is absolutely crucial. Not all Gen AI projects are created equal. The data is crystal clear on this. The highest and fastest ROI comes from things that directly and measurably cut costs. Just look at the top priority here: demand forecasting and inventory optimization. A 15 to 30% drop in stockouts, cutting your inventory costs by up to 25%. Those are immediate bottom line impacts. The message couldn't be clearer. Start with the savings are real and tangible.
And just to see how game-changing this can be, let's zoom in on just one area: procurement. The data shows productivity gains of 50 to 80% for people doing things like drafting RFPs or analyzing contracts. This isn't just about making things a little bit faster. It's about fundamentally changing how work gets done and freeing up your team for more strategic things like sourcing and supplier relationships.
Okay, so we've covered the why, that huge opportunity, and we've covered the what, the highest impact places to start. So now let's get to the how. How do you actually choose between all these great options? Well, that's what the prioritization playbook is all about. It's a simple framework for making really smart investment decisions.
At the heart of this playbook is a really simple but super powerful tool, the prioritization matrix. The best way to think about it is like a strategic scorecard for all your Gen AI ideas. It's all about taking the guesswork out of the equation. You're moving from decisions based on gut feel to decisions based on structured, hard evidence.
And here's what that looks like in the real world. You just score each use case against these key factors. How well does it fit our strategy? What's the ROI going to be? How hard is it to do? And what's the risk? So you can see here, demand forecasting scores high on fit and ROI with pretty manageable effort and low risk. Well, that's a no-brainer for phase 1. And that matrix feeds right into this simple 3-step rollout plan. First, you secure those quick wins. Get some points on the board and show everybody this stuff actually works. Second, once you've proven that ROI, you expand into more complex projects. And third, and this is important, this isn't a one-and-done thing. You have to keep updating the matrix with what you're learning to keep your strategy sharp. It's all about building momentum. All right, now for the final, and you could argue, the most important piece of this whole puzzle. You've picked your project, you've launched it. How do you actually prove it's working? This next part is all about going from a forecast to the financials. It's about measuring and attributing real, hard savings to your Gen AI investment. This is it. This is the question your CFO, your CEO, everyone is going to ask. It's not enough to just say, hey, things feel better. You have to be able to draw a direct, traceable line from your new Gen AI-powered forecast to a specific dollar amount you saved. So the question is, how do you actually do that? Well, the answer is you need a robust, multifaceted way to measure it. You combine a bunch of methods. You track your key metrics before and after you go live. You run controlled A/B tests, where one group uses the new tool and a control group doesn't. You even use statistical analysis to prove the improvements aren't just luck. It's a really comprehensive approach that lets you build an undeniable business case. But there is a huge catch here.
You can have all these powerful measurement methods, but they are completely useless if your data isn't set up correctly from the very beginning. To connect those dots from AI to ROI, you absolutely must have the right data blueprint in place.
This right here, this is the technical foundation for proving ROI. Think of it like this. Your data needs to tell a complete story. You got one table for your forecasts, another for your inventory, and a third for your costs. But the magic, the real secret sauce, is in that fourth table, the attribution link. That is the digital thread that connects a specific forecast to a specific inventory action and its financial outcome. Without that crucial link, proving the savings is basically impossible.
And when you have that data blueprint in place, you can prove powerful statements just like this one. Every percentage point increase in forecast accuracy leads, on average, to a quantifiable reduction in inventory holding costs. See, that's not a guess. It's a mathematical relationship you can demonstrate with your own data. Better forecasts simply mean less money tied up sitting in a warehouse. Plain and simple.
And that's the result of this whole playbook. By understanding the massive opportunity, picking the right place to start with, and then building the data foundation to measure your success, you create a clear, actionable path. This is how you move the entire conversation about GenAI away from some abstract potential and toward concrete, undeniable proof of its value.
So, we'll leave you with this thought. With a clear playbook for prioritizing your investments and a rock-solid framework for proving their value, the question for leaders in the pharma supply chain is no longer if you should invest in generative AI. The real question is, where will you start?